For this top, you will need yarn, a 3.5mm hook, scissors, and a needle. First, we will be working on the cups, so do a slip knot. I'm an A cup, so I will be doing 14 chains, but adjust the amount of chains to your size. Now we will be doing single crochets, with the first one being from the second chain from the hook. 1, 2. And go along this side, just doing single crochets until we reach the end. We've reached the end, now turn your work. Now we will be starting on row 1, so single crochet in the first space. It's right here. And continue with single crochets until we reach the end. I'm doing my last single crochet before we work around this side. The place where we just placed that last single crochet, do 3 more. So there will be a group of 3 single crochets in one space. 1, 2, and before I place that third single crochet, I'm placing that stitch marker in the second single crochet of the 3. So 1, 2, and my third single crochet. And now I'm going to do single crochets all along this side until we reach here. Now we finished row 1. Now we are going to do row 2. So turn your work and do a single crochet right into that first space. Continue with single crochets until we reach that stitch marker. We've reached the stitch marker. This is the very middle point of the cup, and where that stitch marker just was, place a group of 3 single crochets into that one space. 1, 2, and before I place that third single crochet, I'm placing that stitch marker in that second single crochet of the group of 3. So that was 1, 2, and 3 in that same space. Now I'm just going to do single crochets all along this side. Now we are done with row 2. Let's do row 3, so turn your work. Do what we've always been doing, single crochets until that stitch marker. Taking the stitch marker out, placing 3 single crochets in that space. 1, 2, putting that stitch marker in that second single crochet of the 3. Third single crochet, and now I'm just doing single crochets until I reach the end. Keep in mind, row 1 was the only row where we had 4 single crochets in one space. For row 2 and on, you're only having 3 single crochets in one space. Repeat these rows until you have your desired size. I'll meet you back here when I have mine. I finished my cup. I like this size, so I'm going to fasten off by doing 1 chain, cutting my yarn, and pulling, and now it's all fastened off. I've made my second cup. Ignore these stitch markers, I'll explain it later, but make sure both of your cups are identical and count the stitches around to make sure they both have the same stitch count. Turn both of your cups upside down so the fastened off end is on the top right corner. Now we will be working on the mesh part. I'm using this blue yarn, so do a slip knot and place it on your hook. Put your hook through the first space, so it's right here for me. I'm going to single crochet, and as I'm doing this, I'm also weaving in these 2 ends. For an example, I put stitch markers in the spaces you are going to single crochet into because they're pretty small, but it looks like this. If you look from the top, they kind of look like V's. So right here, you would do a single crochet here, 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 and so on. If you look from the top, there's a little V right here. So I'm putting my hook into that and doing a single crochet. And the next one. Now we've reached this tail. We're also going to single crochet into right here, even though it's not a V, but there should be a pretty big space here. Single crochet into that and just continue finding the V's from the top. And I'm also weaving in this end. Now we have one more stitch left. So if you do a single crochet into that last one, you should see it makes a sharp corner, but undo that single crochet. That was just to check if it was the last one, and put your hook through where the last single crochet should go, and then get your other cup. My hook is in the last stitch of this cup, and now I'm going to put it in the first stitch of the other cup. It would be right here, and single crochet these together. Continue with single crochets along this cup. Just keep looking at the top for those little V's. So I'm going to continue while I'm weaving in this end. We can see there's our tail. Remember to do a single crochet into here, even though it's not a V, just single crochet into that. Find the next one. Make sure to weave in the end as you're single crocheting. Here is my last single crochet. And we can see it makes a sharp corner right there. Before fastening off your end, count how many stitches you have just to make sure they are equal. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 13, 14, 15. This is for this cup. I'm not counting the stitch where we single crochet these together, so I'm skipping that one. This is 15. 1, 2, 3, 4, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Both sides are an equal amount of stitches, so now I can fasten it off. Chain 1, and I'm putting my yarn. I put stitch markers just so it's easier for me to explain. We are going to count by threes, so find the very middle of your cups. This is mine. For me, I put a stitch marker here, and now we are going to count by threes, but we're not going to count this. We are going to count the stitch next to it. So here's the stitch. 1, 2, 3. The stitch marker is here. 1, 2, 3. Stitch marker. 1, 2, 3. Stitch marker. 1, 2, 3. And 1, 2, 3. So mine is a perfect multiple of 3. I don't have to do any adjusting chains because it's a perfect multiple of 3. I have 15 on this side and 15 on this side, not including the middle where we attach the 2 cups. But let's just say you have 10 stitches on each side. You would have to make that 12, so just keep in mind 2 adjusting chains. Grab your yarn and do a slip knot. First, we will be doing chains, and these chains will determine how backless you want your top to be, but it has to be in multiples of 3. So for me, I'm only going to do 3 chains, but you could do 3, 6, 9, 12, or so on. Now we will be doing the adjusting chains. I don't need to because, like I said before, mine is already a perfect multiple of 3, but like the example I gave before, let's just say both of your cups are 10 stitches each, which isn't a multiple of 3, you would chain 2 more, so it would become 12. I don't need to do that, so I can skip that step. And now we are going to attach this onto the cups. Put your hook through the first single crochet and attach it by doing a single crochet. And just continue single crochets all along this side until you get here. My last single crochet. Now we are going to mirror the same amount of chains from this side to this side. So I personally did 3 chains on this side, so now I will be doing 3 chains here. Now, no matter how many chains you have, do an additional 3 chains. Turn your work. We are going to do our first double crochet in the 4th chain from the hook. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now find the 3rd stitch, 1, 2, 3, and we are going to do 3 double crochets in that 1 stitch. That is 3 double crochets in the 3rd stitch, and now we are going to do that again. Count 3, 1, 2, 3, and in that 3rd stitch, 3 double crochets in that 1 stitch. Just keep counting by 3s. 1, 2, 3, and 3 double crochets. 1, 2, 3, and just continue this along until you're close to the end. I did my final cluster of 3 double crochets, and now we are going to do 2 double crochets in the very last chain. But before I finish that 2nd double crochet, I'm going to just pull through 2, and now I'm going to change colors. This is completely optional. If you don't want to change colors, just finish the double crochet like normal and then chain 3. But because I want to change colors, I'm going to cut off the yarn about here. I'm getting my 2nd color and I'm placing it on the hook like this, and I'm gonna pull the new color through. Now chain 3 and turn your work. Now do 3 double crochets into these spaces. So we're now just doing the clusters of the 3 double crochets, but now we're doing it in these really big spaces. The next space. And just continue this until you get to the end. Now I finish with the row. My final step is to double crochet between these 2 stitches. I'm not going to finish this double crochet because I'm going to switch colors again. I'm cutting the yarn. I'm putting my new color over the hook to pull through. Chain 3 and turn your work. Do 1 double crochet in between the cluster and the double crochet right here. And now keep going with your clusters until you reach the end. I'm at the end of my row 3. I'm doing 2 double crochets in that last space. But before I finish it, now there's only 2 loops on my hook. I'm cutting the yarn. I'm placing my new color on my hook and pulling that through. Chain 3. Turn your work. And just continue with your clusters until you reach the end. I'm about to finish this row, but if you notice the pattern, if you look at the edges, it's always 2, 1, 2, 1. Right here as well, 2, 1, 2. So that means this one will do 1 double crochet within these 2 stitches. Before I'm finishing that double crochet, I'm going to cut the yarn. I'm placing it on my hook and I'm pulling through. Chain 3. Turn your work. Do 1 double crochet in the first space and continue with your clusters. And we can even see here the pattern still shows 2, 1, 2, 1, and 2. Keep making your rows until you have your desired length. I'll meet you back here when I have mine. I finished all of my rows. I did 18 in total. The next step is to fasten off these ends. I already did some of them, but I'll still show you how to do them. For this end, I'm going to weave it into those 3 double crochets. And then I'm gonna go up one, so this navy color right here, and I'm just gonna loop it through one of those loops. Like this, and then I can pull through. Next, I'm gonna do this dark blue end. I'm going to put it through this loop and then go up one, so this light blue. And then I'm gonna weave it through these 3 double crochets. Now I'm gonna cut off these excess ends. Next, we are going to do the halter neck. So do a slip knot on your hook. Place your hook in the very point of your cup. It's right here for me. And attach it. Now do 100 chains. This was 100 chains, so now I can cut the yarn off. And I'm going to do the very same thing for this side. I finished with both of the chains for the halter neck, and now I'm going to weave in these ends. Now I'll cut off the excess ends of the chains. This is optional, but I'm going to attach 2 stitches from the cups together. Now it looks like this from the front, and then I'm going to weave in these ends. And now your top is all finished.